Hello gamers, welcome back to Seaside Survival. Thanks for tuning in. Today we've got some progress to make on the giant tower that I've been slowly building up all season. It's time to make a big push and get this thing done. I'm tired of looking at the scaffolding, to be honest. Before we do that though, I want to give you a quick update on some things. I've always had my world on a Minecraft Realms server. It's handy when I want to play it away from my PC, but Realms isn't perfect though. For one, graphical settings are not made locally. They're limited to the Realms capabilities. Check out the mob farm behind me, the tower on top of the mountain, the giant tree. They're not super visible with the fog and the render distance. This is easy to demonstrate while I'm flying around. See how the world loads in slowly? Only a few chunks surrounding the player at a time. Let's go over to the meadow here. You can see what I mean. As we turn right, you can just start to see the cliffs that we made in the last episode. The mountains are coming in. Off in the distance, you can start to see the rings from our elytra course. The skeleton spawner house straight ahead is slowly coming into view. Okay, so now let's have a look at how it renders with the world running locally on my machine. Check it out. You can see the whole cliffside, the mob machine. You can see the tear in the sky from here. The tree is fully loaded in. It's great. Let's fly around now. Oof, ow. Okay, here we go. Look how much more area is rendered in as we move around the world. You can see the elytra course from here, from the valley. It's awesome. The skelly spawner is in full view. You can see the full mountain range that surrounds the meadow. It's great. I'm gonna play like this now with the world running locally. Man, it's so much nicer to see more at once. And I'm sure the visual improvement is nice for you too, as the viewer. Let me know what you think in the comments. And now, I want to give you a quick update about our mob farm. Let's go! Alright, remember this beast? It's our one chunk wide mob farm. I've worked on this on and off all season and on some streams too. Now I've done some optimization and wanted to talk a little bit about it. Namely, the collection area and our AFK spot have been changed drastically. Now our AFK platform is a bit of a mess here. I gotta clean this up. That's coming soon. But here's 30 minutes with the original funnel configuration. This is what I would get sitting here and waiting for 30 minutes. Well, actually I'd be sitting in here and waiting for 30 minutes to see how many mobs will drop in. It's something, but I mean, it's not much, right? Now let's check out what it looks like now that I have the collection chamber reconfigured. I'll just jump down here quick and do a perfect landing. Nope. Oh, okay. Now, like I said, do a perfect landing. And check this out. This is 30 minutes now, and that's just one of the chests. Hello, skelly friend. Alright, so now what happens is the mobs will go down this water slide and land on these magma blocks. The magma blocks will slowly burn them up, and they will drop their goods. The hopper minecart underneath this mechanism will collect any drops that fall from our mobs and slowly filter them into the chests. So yeah, that's just a half hour with one of the chests, and there's 3 total chests. So we are in business now. Man, we are a gunpowder machine. And combined with the sugarcane farm that we have underneath the Terradome, well, now we basically have unlimited rockets. Mob drops are now a renewable resource, and all I have to do is kind of hang around in this area. It's awesome. Now, I'm not sure if maybe you're not familiar with the mob farm concept, but essentially the idea is that the spawning platforms are encased with tinted glass, so it's dark inside all the time and mobs will spawn. I have a redstone flushing mechanic set up so that every 10 seconds or so, the platforms will flood and push the mobs down into the collection funnel at the bottom of the machine. Now this whole area is surrounded by water and elevated high enough that mobs shouldn't be spawning anywhere else. So this is, it's coming along. This is going to be another big expansion project on the Seaside, and I can't wait to build it up over here. Stay tuned for more. Now, I want to give you a couple updates about the Terradome. Right, so the Terradome storage solution is my favorite build on the Seaside, and definitely the most used. What you're looking at here is my newly reorganized storage area. I have plenty of extra space for items that may be added in the future, and I find that I don't really need too much overflow storage. I've reorganized things in order to group items that I typically use at the same time, and that really cuts down on the back and forth while finding or storing items around here. You'll also notice how I've made small crafting areas within the chest walls. This eliminates the need to have the workbenches elsewhere in the area or outside the dome. It's handy having it all nearby. I've also done a bit of work on the upper level of the dome. See how the diorite platforms were a bit chunky before? It made it tougher to fly out of the side of the dome. Now they were intended for a second storage layer, but we don't need it at this time, so I'm going to slim them down a bit. See? Not bad, huh? The tighter upper platform leaves less overhang, more light comes in, and it's much easier to fly in or out of the dome. Some small changes here, but really helpful changes. What do you think? And now on to the main course, the Dark Tower. It's been here since the beginning of Season 2, and I've been slowly working at it. I'm using mostly blackstone, which requires that I go mining in the nether. You all know how I feel about that, especially with all the gas hanging around near the nether hub. Well, today, it all changes. No more half-built tower with scaffolding all over the place. We're finishing it. Well, I guess we'll finish the structure at least. When Season 2 started, I was finishing the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. The story has inspired a few of my builds this season, particularly this one. Now, while you're watching me tear this thing mostly down and placing new blocks, I'll give you a bit of backstory on this build. I intended it to be one chunk wide, a 16 by 16 block segment of our world. I wanted it to go super high into the sky and dig a basement all the way to bedrock. Originally, it was intended to be a mob farm. However, being on land, the spawn rates weren't great, and that's why I wound up building the mob farm out over the ocean instead. Now, of course, our recording studio is in the basement of this tower, and that's exactly one chunk. Now that I'm not building a mob farm in this thing, it doesn't have to be exactly 16 by 16 anymore. I can build it a bit more tower-shaped instead of just one giant square building. That also saves me a ton of resources, which is nice. So now that this thing isn't a mob farm, what is it? We're only doing the outside today, so let me know in the comments what you think we should put in here. I may just simply make an interior that's not for any specific purpose. Nothing wrong with that. I'm picturing some grand staircase that leads up to a second level, and generally just making it look cool. Maybe we could do a grand enchanting setup, and it's a wizard's tower. Maybe it's a museum, and I put relics from the Seaside inside. I don't know yet. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you though, so please do let me know if you have any ideas for the inside of this thing. There's a lot of interior to work with, so I'm not opposed to a few different uses either. And no, I'm not going to tell you what's in the Dark Tower in the novels. That would basically spoil the whole series. Okay, we're really coming along here. I've got the main tower constructed on top of the 16 by 16 base. You can see how I've added a gradient to the side of the build in order to break up the monotony of the same blackstone block over and over again. Now I'll add some texture to the build by making 4 smaller towers around the main one. I'll also get a roof on top of this thing too. Don't worry. See? A roof. Now for the 4 towers. I'm placing campfires within the 4x4 insides. I'll make a glass spiral around the sides of the towers, and that way we'll be able to see just a hint of the smoke going up on the inside. The animation will add a bit of life to the exterior of our build. I'm also using basalt to border the top of the base. The color fits in with the polished basalt pillars, and it adds another layer of interest. Now I found that the blue lanterns not only add some light to the exterior at night, they also look really cool. I think they make the place look a bit more lived in. I'll go ahead and add more basalt and more lanterns around the outer edge here. Now, I promised a tower, and a tower is what you got. I'll add more to the exterior over time, tweaking things here and there, you know how it goes. But the base tower is now complete. That's not all though. I've always wanted a covered bridge leading from the tower to the western mountains. It's time we put one in. Ta-da! Here's the start of our bridge, looking back at the tower. I've continued the basalt pillar look with the black stone. I'm putting up some walls along the edges for the illusion of safety, but ultimately, I want to be able to fly up into the bridge with my stellar landing skills. And yet again, back to the Nether for more resources. Ah, perfect landing. Perfect. Alright, it's time to clear some of this snow. Every time I clear the snow away, it snows more. Yeah. Let's get the snow out of here, and we'll put a roof on this thing. So just like in real life, as soon as you finish shoveling, it snows again. Alright, let's get this roof up before the more snow accumulates, alright? For the roof, I'll be using smooth blackstone stairs. This gives it a sloping effect, but also, stairs don't accumulate snow, so that's nice too. I've been snowproofing my roofs by adding string, buttons, slabs, stairs, and other similar blocks. Whatever will block snow from accumulating, but also look good. Of course, back to shoveling. This should be the final time that... Oh, creeper. I'll take you out. And thank you very much for the gunpowder. Oh, you thought we'd stop here. I know, we've already expanded our render distance, worked on the mob farm, rearranged our storage, tore down a tower, rebuilt the tower, and constructed a bridge. But what if we build another tower? We've got all this land here on the other side of the bridge. It's the perfect place to connect to another tower. I'll flatten some of the peaks here so that we have space for more stuff on the top of the mountains in the future. Okay, so that's that. We built a lot this episode, and I hope you like what we've done with the place. Let's update our map and take a tour of the Dark Tower, its bridge, and the other tower. I don't have a name for that one, or a function. Let me know in the comments what should go in these towers. Alright, got that one all updated, and we'll update this one too. There it is. Good to go. Let's go check out the builds. Oh, it's dark. Better sleep. There's monsters there. Okay. Now, I guess we could do the tour from in here. We do have a glass ceiling on this part. Hey, look, I built supports for the bridge. It's not just floating there. Pretty neat, huh? There we go. Now I can sleep. Okay, let's get a view from the sky. Man, that looks so much better. And it's only going to improve from here, too. The bridge supports add a lot to the build, I think. It grounds it a bit, making it seem like it's something that could actually exist in the real world. And that helps with the build's realism. Let's head inside and take a closer look. Perfect landing, as expected. Now, obviously there's not much to look at in here yet, but essentially this building will be two parts. This main room that we're in here, and the actual tower part up here. So if we have two things that we can use this building for, we could split it up into two different things. Actually, you know, this building's three different things. And our recording studio's underneath. Neat. I wonder if there's a way that we could work that in to the ground floor. That'd be kind of cool. Things to think about. I placed a makeshift chandelier here. It's not exactly what I'm going for, but I was playing around with ideas. This is gonna be a tricky flight, but another perfect landing. Yeah, see, it's not finished in here, but it's a work in progress. Let's go out to the bridge. Great view from up here, huh? Oh, I added these little outlets on the bridge too. It makes it easier to land when you're flying. Man, we gotta figure out how to close this tear in the sky. Hopefully nothing else falls from it. So ominous. I'm still getting used to this render distance. It's awesome. You can see everything from up here. Well, let's head over to the second tower. I started to put in a floor. It's a red floor made out of glazed terracotta. Let me know what you think of it. I think it's going to look better with more stuff in this tower, but it's a good start. It's hard to nail down the pattern on these things, but yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. Now I flattened out the land up here, and I have some plans. We're gonna do some other cool things. Hey, there's the mob farm. But yeah, I'd like to make an upper path here with other towers and things connecting, and the path would lead over to the cliffs. One thing at a time though. But once we expand the area surrounding the mob farm, it'd be nice to have another path to it. Well, that's it for this episode, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. If it's earned a like, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you think about the interior, and don't forget to tune in next time, where we'll do something a little bit different. Bye-bye.